This video has chapters, so if you want to skip right just the installation, or you want to see how it performs on the water, if you just want to see the motor itself, you just click on the hyperlinks in the description area or the comment section below. But actually this was a much more complicated process than even I gave it credit for, and so the video is a fairly extensive pre-installation, what I had to do to the transom, what jack plate I had to get to the installation, and then post-installation, some of the things I had to do before I got out in the water, and then also obviously the end result of us on the water with fish catches. It's all here. Check it all out. Alright, so long story short, this is my 25 horse Merc. I'm replacing it with a 60 horse Merc. Adam Ryan is here, collaborating with me at this time. He's going to help me film this whole thing. This is a little mini-series of how I prep my boat to take a motor that big. Initially, it was only strong enough for a portable outboard. We stuck a brand new aluminum transom, one of our DIY kits from our website, tbnation.net, and then we also got a jack plate. After we refastened the entire transom to the back of the boat and installed the jack plate, we are now ready for the motor upgrade. Alright, so it's off. Motor. The boat is clean, and it's gonna get right now for the actual prep, and then obviously it's all tore back, and we'll be fixing that. But first things first, gotta get a motor on it. All right, so here it is. We got the transom in, we got the jack plate in. It's got an interface that's made to fit our boat. Oh, we gotta take this off. So since you're an iPhone warrior.
Oh baby.
A little dusty since we left it out here, but hey, there she is, ladies and gents.
Do they come with propellers? I mean,
yes, they do.
They
come in that box.
Good deal. Always wondered.
The prop and like some other stuff come in this box. Oh, the tiller comes in this box. I think it comes with a prop. I may have screwed up there and not ordered the prop.
I mean, you would think it would. I don't know.
I think you have to order the prop.
I just always seen them not on, so I figured.
We will be getting a prop today. I don't care what it is. How heavy is this thing? Think I can lift it? I'll find out right in a minute. Oh, it's bolted to the thing.
That 220 looked pretty tough, so I doubt the 60.
Hey,
A little bit of doubt.
a little bit of credit. I bet you I could lift that motor. I bet you I can. So here we are, finally. The motor looks great. It still looks as is. It's been sitting here for months now. And it's a little bit more than I thought to get it actually out of the box. The box is hiding a metal frame that the motor's attached to, so we have to kind of unbolt it. And then once we have that, we can take this off and check out the motor. Okay, so we got this because it's more horsepower and only like 10 more pounds than the 50 or something?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and in reality, the 60 to a 50 is the same platform. So in regards to, for a boat rated for a 50 and is able to handle the weight of a 50, the 60 technically just kind of makes it to where you have a little bit more power, but you don't necessarily have to go, wide open throttle in order to get the full 50 horsepower out of it. So the main reason we did it is because it's cool, and you got a big killer 60.
That's the main reason we did it. That's this true story.
Okay, so it's just got a loop on it.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
Let's go. Alright, so the motor's finally out of the box, but before we stick it to the jack plate, there's some things we can do while it's on the hoist that are easier to do just when it's free floating. So we will go ahead and prep those things right now.
Here it is.
Now we should bolt it on. Normally we roll the motor to whatever.
Right.
This does not normally happen this way. Don't worry, we can move it all around. So.
The Atlas micro jack I got really fits the boat well because it's not super high profile, but it fits the interface of these bigger motors. So we have a lot more holes on the actual motor, so there's some debate about what's part of the hole we should put on the jack plate. We decided to put it on the very top and the bottom to make it more of a clean interface so that the jack plate has the most leverage. And if it ever needs to be adjusted, well then we'll have to go through this again. But there's no way we'll actually know until we put this thing on the water and check its performance. And then we can go from there as far as adjustments. I'd also like to mention, because I forgot to mention in the last video, that Fallon Marine actually helped me find this jack plate because we couldn't find one before that. So they found one. I don't know where they found it, but that's how we got it this fast. As you get the bolts put on, you just lower the jack, or if you have some really strong friends, you could just have them hold it there while you put the bolt through. Either way, we eventually get it done and we get it on the interface, and then we're on to some of the more intricate parts like installing the tiller and making sure everything works electronically before we start the motor for the first time. We're just gonna put it backwards and just lower so we can get it in there. Now we can put it this way.
No, I got 2-inch bolts.
All right. The motor did come with its own hardware, but it was its own hardware to kind of mount it directly to a very big, thick transom, not a jack plate. So we had to use some of the stuff. Thankfully, Karina had some hardware on hand that we were able to use to mount the motor to and from, or we'd had to run to the hardware store again. So once we get all the hardware situated, we go ahead and we detach the hoist. The motor will hang on a transom. It has overhanging lips. They're not the most stable thing. You would still need some sort of support. I guess you can go get a cheap hoist from Harbor Freight, and you can get it done that way if you're going to install one of these yourself. Have some really strong friends. But installing on a jack plate, you definitely need friends or a hoist because there's nowhere for the motor to grip to while you mount it to it.
The weight is off the...
Beautiful. So nice.
Okay, yep, and you just take that. Actually, doesn't look as big as what I thought it was going to be on the back of your boat, honestly.
Right.
Like, I think
the boat's rated for a 50.
It almost fits perfect.
it does. And again, that's why, I mean, honestly, being it's rated for 50, the 60 just kind of gives you that where you're not going to have to, you know, like getting on pad and stuff.
Just rated for 50 with a crappy wood trans in there. Now we're going to go ahead and install the big tiller, which we had to take off the initial stock plate there that was mounted to the frame inside the box. And then it's just a plate. I know the motor looks completely solid from the outside when the cow's on it, but down in there, there's 2 bolts that hold this plate that is the interface around the grommets right there. That big plastic grommet you see right there in the circular area right there next to my chest, that is where all the cables run through and where the steering and throttle linkage runs through. And we're going to go ahead and connect that next once we get this out. This is the main harness that actually talks to your motor, tells it what to do, start, stop. You know, I think these are the actual, I don't know what these are for. We'll have to consult Guild about those. And these are the actual steering. These are the throttle and shift cables.
Okay, we have to shift it into neutral on both sides of it. So the shift rod coming up. We're in neutral halfway in between, like the forward is forward, reverse is reverse, and neutral sitting in between. There are these little clips attached into the throttle and shifting linkage. You need to remove them and then reinstall them once the cables are on. And you can see, so they're in there. That's how they're, you know, coming.
That's to the shifting linkage, right?
This one's for the throttle.
That's the throttle?
Yep.
And you pull the one to the shifting?
Yep, so we were just talking about the shifting. So the
that
thing
was right
is,
there.
Yep,
Okay.
so it's in neutral right now. If someone needed to, you could technically shift this manually. So that's going into forward, and then going backwards going to go under. Throttle technically is always going to be at return position. So the thing that we'll be checking when we're going for it is that it's actually going through its full, you know, throttle demand. So it's going through its full sweep of throttle, because technically this doesn't go anywhere other than it moves from this returned position all the way to forward. That's full throttle. You're the lucky person that's getting me to help.
Might have loosened that bolt, huh?
No, nope, you don't want to do that.
So in fact,
all right, there we go. The new big tillers that fit on the latest generation Mercuries are pretty awesome. They're long enough to where you can actually stand and till without having to use like a trolling motor extension. They have the shifting linkage right next to the throttle. They have troll assist. And they also have a position to where you can shift the entire swing arm over to where you can sit in any position you want on the boat and still be able to steer the motor straight, left and right. Once it's on it, you just have to complete 3 major components. It's not terribly hard. Say, like you're rigging up a console motor with gauges and all kinds of other complicated stuff. It's just 2 spots. It's the throttle linkage and the shifting linkage. And just making sure you put those in, and you put the little linkage stays in their place to where they keep the linkage from bouncing around inside the cowl. You put the pins back in. It is pretty simple. The only plug you need to put in for any sort of power or anything is the 1 harness plug, and once you have that in there, Karina went and attached that with some zip ties to make sure it kind of stays secure inside the cowl. The cables fit a little tight through that grommet interface from the tiller to the engine, but it was fine. We kind of got it worked around and tweaked. And you put that plate back on with those screws. Make sure you have a skinny enough ratchet extension to do it. But once that's done, it's more or less ready to go. The motor comes ready out of the box to start. It's already filled with oil, gear lube, you name it. All it needs now is some power from a battery to start it up.
That is a huge upgrade. He's got the all welded aluminum transom, the mini jack plate, and then the new 60 horsepower Mercury motor. Whole new back end upgrade. It looks freaking awesome.
All right, putting on the earmuffs. Here, I got the gas tank in here. Oh, that's it right there. Oh. Is it okay to run the ethanol free? Because it was at like 92 octane. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay. It says to not do that, but
It's
the only ethanol free gas I can find is a 92 octane. They won't do it. And oh yeah.
That was way better.
That was. Beautiful.
Yep.
Best Mercury Vessel View Mobile. That's dope. All right.
basically pull off your yellow terminator cap, plug that into the open port now, flip it over, and then you've got to take this cap off and install the yellow terminator cap for your smart.
What do they call a terminator?
There's terminator resistors in there. It basically resists and puts enough resistance in the system for the SmartCraft sensors to work. So without that, it gets jumbled information in the ECM.
Now I can read the RPMs from my phone, because I always get asked about gauges and gauges and gauges for this, and those are going away.
Yeah.
Like in these smart lithium batteries I have, all the gauges are on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
In this new spot lock thing I have, it's in the phone.
Yeah, it's all.
Well, Minnesota power drive, we got that. I'll show you about that later. Wait, install it right here, maybe?
Yeah. No, actually, yeah, you can sit that
Probably right there, huh? That fits right in there, huh?
I feel like that was too easy.
Yeah, that was like, something's gonna go wrong.
Why?
Because when it's that
Life
easy,
is
everything goes
no.
wrong.
See, that's the thing is when it comes to what we do,
That was
we
like
make it easy.
extremely easy.
Everybody wants to overcomplicate things. It's easy.
Even I did that.
First try.
And you
Super huge thanks to Gil, Karina, and Josh over here at Fallon Marine for continuously helping me through all my outboard stuff from the minute I bought a 4-stroke Mercury and all the problems that I had after that, being able to test motors, being able to give you guys content with their help. They're very specific interest in small portable outboards in the tiny boat community, something I don't get from anybody else in town, and there are several Mercury shops, but trying to work with them or get them to even sell me a motor was always a struggle. And Fallon Marine sells motors to the tiny boat nation community all over the country. They ship portable outboards, I think, fairly regularly. And so it's really nice to kind of get this bigger, non-portable outboard, show what it's like to install one of them, because we all know what it's like to install smaller motors. And it really wasn't that bad. Very, very doable. And now it is time for us to go finish up this boat and go fish. And there it is. I have over twice the horsepower for less than 100 pounds more added weight on the boat. Seems like a fair trade to me. I don't know what you guys think, but I did love this motor. I still am going to keep it. I got some questions. Am I going to sell it? Probably not, given how hard it is to get outboards now, the wait time and the expense. And plus this motor is still fairly new. It's only got 100 or so hours. I'm just going to find, I have a few places in town where I can kind of stow it and get it out of the way and get it out of my garage. And that's what I'm going to do for the moment, but it's definitely going to go back on another boat somewhere. So me and Adam here, we're gonna go and sim things up and get parts of the back of the boat put back together now that we have the motor on, and we're gonna go out and fish. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take out these batteries and put them in my boat for now. Just for now. We'll put them back in here later. Just go ahead, pull it out.
I can hold it like the other thing is nothing. Pinky. Insane.
I mean, what's really insane is the battery performance. Why we're pulling it out of here, begrudgingly, because really I need that battery setup in here, is because we need optimal performance out of our fish finders so we can go slay. All right, quickly, I just want to talk about all these batteries we got. We got like a serious battery issue going on. So we have these, I think they're Deca Marine / RV Marine batteries, the Intimidator line. That is about the size of a Group 24. So we're running that. We also have a little U1 battery, which is like the go-to little kayak battery, little 25-pound kayak battery everybody used to get before the lithiums came out, and they were like half the weight. But this right now is about 25-ish, 24 pounds or something like that. Still pretty light, able to take a beating, lasts pretty long. The big thing about it is outboard alternator approved. So the lithium's not outboard alternator approved. In fact, a lot of them burn out the alternators. You have to have a specific alternator, or you have to have a resistor or a limiter. Your starter battery, you have to have like something that stops the AGM battery from cranking too hard. The lithium battery from, because the amount of volts the lithium battery can push out will actually burn out the alternator. Something weird about that. You have to have like other things in place if you're going to use a lithium cranking battery. But I just have this AGM U1. We're going to use solely as a cranking battery for the first motor startup. We'll be using the 2 Decas, again about the size of a Group 24, but way stronger, a little bit more powerful. But mainly the strength, the amount of the beating they'll be able to take is really good for constant power to the trolling motor. And then we will have my personal favorite, this thing, which is super light. This is comically light. That is a 12 volt from Underground Power. These are on our website. And I love this battery. I got to test their duplex battery where they had the 12 and the 24 volt split. That was pretty cool. But that was just a test battery. The initial outcome is we end up getting 2 separate batteries, 24 volt pack and a 12 volt pack. So we're going to stick a 12 volt pack in here to run all of our electronics. I did run the UHD Garmin Echo Map on this, and it was the clearest, most precise readout I've ever seen on any fish finder. I was blown away, and because I had run these on, obviously, one of these. I've been running a single lead acid, just a Group 31, to try and run those. They just don't do the job for UHD fish finders, just so you know. Well, actually, we're just going all AGM, plus the 1 lithium. This will be the first time where I'm running in my boat where we have no lead acid batteries, so I'll just keep this one as a spare something. It'll just be around, but it is what it is. Yeah, not even close.
No, that's just now 30.
Oh. There. That's a 50?
No, that's 30.
You torqued it at 30?
Yeah.
I felt it click though, right?
Yeah, so go to the next one, bottom one.
Okay, my bad.
At least your new 60's not in the bottom of the lake.
Right? Because it was probably going to go there.
That's exactly where it's going to go. Well, why do you think they make things that fit?
What?
Why do you think they make wrenches that fit?
I just land my personal strength. I use my strong hand and the channel locks, they'll work.
It didn't look very good. So the end torque specs on the boats I do are 50 foot-pounds. So I'll creep my way up there just to see how the transom is going to handle that much torque.
Yeah.
So I'll build a little different. And this piece of aluminum may be different than that piece. So you go in there jumping up into 50, fucking up there ranking. Once it starts collapsing on itself, it's just,
Yeah.
that's it.
So you put it at 30?
Yeah, I start with 30.
Good. Did it go to 50?
I haven't gone to 50 yet.
Oh.
Has this motor ran?
Yes, it ran for like 1 minute.
One minute.
Yeah. We're gonna go run it tonight.
And then you just gave him full price for the motor.
Huh?
That's what you did. He ran it for 1 minute and you're like, let's take my money.
When?
When you bought this.
It's a brand new motor. It's brand new. It's got like no hours on it. What are you looking at me that way?
Who said that?
I pulled it out of the crates. I have it on video. It's a brand new freaking Merc. We installed the tiller handle right on it. It all came in a box in like plastic. It came in a damn Mercury crate. I got it on video, dude.
I believe you. I don't do small motors. I personally think there's no such thing as a big. That whole transom thing's for pussy. Boats can do whatever. Once you get it on a plane, it doesn't matter how much the motor weighs. You just gotta go.
Alright, so here we are. Thing starts up immediately, sounds perfect, runs perfect. I mean, right now we're just idling around. It's a surreal moment to have this motor on here. Pretty epic. Had to go through some things to get it on, but here it is. And here's Adam. We were ready to fish. It took us like 3 days to do all this. It took us far too long to replace the transom and do all this and install this and finally get it over to Fallon and get the motor mounted. But after that, it's ready to go. We're not supposed to bring it past, a little bit higher, between 50 and 70% throttle, so that's where we're going to keep it. We're going to see where it takes us on that. We have a 13-pitch 4-blade prop on. Really immediately it gets on plane, immediately, especially with the power tilt, which is quite invaluable. Already at 50% throttle, we are going much faster than we were ever going with my 25 horse. And my 25 horse, it would get me to 21, 22 miles an hour with a 9-pitch prop by myself. Really, we were doing 15 or 16 miles an hour at best with 2 individuals plus, full loaded down gear. And that's without a live well. But this thing will plane a whale. I'm most sure of it. After we did this, I took my family out and I towed both my kids on a tube with my wife and I inside the boat. It did fine. You could barely tell there was any real lag. It went just as fast at 60-70% throttle as it did with not towing a tube. The boat handles it really well. You could definitely tell that this bigger deep V aluminum Alaskan style hull was made for at least a 50 horse, probably maybe more. But this is good. I mean, I don't really plan on going much faster. It already pushes you 31, 32 at 70% throttle. That's pretty fast in this boat. It feels like you're flying. But what is the gas mileage? What does it get off a 6-gallon tank? Because really, that's all that can fit in my boat. That's what I built the boat for. I never planned on running a motor this big on the boat until obviously I had to. And so in terms of comparison to what I was getting with the 25, it's actually about the same. And possibly because I was having to max out throttle on my 25 whenever I was using it, but I was still getting about 4 times the gas mileage that I was getting out of a 25 horsepower 2-stroke, so I didn't complain. And I mean, after doing about the same trips, my routine trips to my routine spots back and forth, I would check the fuel gauge, and it's about the same depletion. When I pour it in and I come back in, it's about the same depletion, and I'm guessing it's because I only have to run the throttle at 50 to 60% right now. And so I'm using half the throttle, even though it's a bigger motor, and getting the way better results, way faster, more efficient results, safer results, and I'm getting to where I need to get faster, getting on the fish faster, meeting timelines, time gap, stuff that where I know we need to be at certain times, and then being able to put people on fish, myself on fish. I mean, it's up to them to catch it, but getting there. and not struggling, not putting around, struggling to get on plane. I'm over all that stuff. This lake is very moody. It'll take a lot out of you if you can't get where you need to get to at a decent speed. And so now finally we have no problems with that. It's worth everything. All right guys, there it was. Absolutely worth it, 100%. Wouldn't change anything about it. If anything, I would have done it sooner. But there it was, from start to finish. I hope this answers some tips and tricks. If you find a used motor that big, things you would have to do to reinstall it on your boat, or if you got a new motor, hopefully you got a good shop. Definitely the shop matters. Always know that when you buy a motor. The next thing coming up is the entire Tennessee trip with the Tin Can crew, where we built another boat together. And that's all coming up next week. Stay tuned for that. It's pretty epic.